Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Eddie, and I currently work in the finance department at Google. I'm really happy we've been able to meet over the past couple of days. We've engaged in some really meaningful discussions regarding the legal and financial matters that face Google. However, I think it's time that we shift the focus of our meeting to discuss the ethics, as that's a really important aspect of business. So recently in our industry, many companies have faced ethical issues, and the one main ethical issue facing Google is users' privacy, and I think that we need to address that. So it's really important to the success of our company that we're viewed in a positive light by the public and that our consumers have confidence in our products. So our motto is to do the right thing. We pride ourselves on this, and I think we really need to do a better job of living up to this motto. We have a duty to our shareholders and to our customers to improve our company ethics while also delivering our innovative products. So our main focus is that we need to shift our focus towards the users, as without our users, we would not be able to generate any advertising revenue, which is the way that Google creates most of their revenue. So the way we could go about doing this is being more transparent with our users and letting them know and effectively communicating to them what we're doing with their data. This will be able to create consumer confidence. And also, one of the biggest things, if we fail to do this, that our consumers will not be confident in our product and may switch to a competitor instead, which this would negatively impact us financially, and we don't want to go down that path. So as we've all been familiar with the issues that have been happening with Facebook, we've seen how they've handled their user data, and we don't want to go down a similar path that Facebook is going down. We have the ethical obligation to our users and the financial means to do so. It's imperative that we do the right thing at Google. Thank you.
22% of fake news was funneled to Americans via Facebook. But why should we care? As an employee, I believe that we should. With over 2 billion monthly active users turning to their news feeds for credible information, Facebook has a responsibility within this era of fake news to address it. Facebook has become a position of importance within American society. Like a city that depends on its waterways, content depends on the clarity of the stream. Muddied waters create a muddied society. And to do well, in this case, is to also do good. And when Facebook does well, society does well. Additionally, we sell ourselves as a company that creates community. But if we are no longer known as the purveyor of trust and integrity, what does this mean? It undermines everything that we are as a company. With this, within our mission statement, we have values such as education, community, and trust, and we need to integrate this into the solution. I firmly believe that as an employee, if we are to integrate such factors, such as an internal ethical consulting committee, an improved algorithm, and a CRM that truly addresses an educated world, this would create incredible change. Finally, we may ask ourselves, does Facebook's financial obligation and their ethical one, are they pitted against each other? They're not, and we don't need to sacrifice who we are as a company. So with this, we can ask ourselves once again, how can Facebook accept their willingness to protect democracy while also accepting their financial constraints? With this, I truly believe that we need to put our ethical duties side by side with our fiduciary. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm so sorry to bring this up last minute, but something's really been weighing on my mind. When I heard we were doing animal testing on monkeys, I was simply appalled. Now, Jim, Diane, Charlie, I know all of you guys have small children, so imagine something with me. Imagine we took your kids, put them in a small room, filled that room with exhaust. You can see the pain and discomfort on their faces. But they can't communicate with you and tell you that. A doctor comes out publicly saying, this is wrong, this is hurting them, but yet we still allow it to happen. I know for a fact every one of you do everything in your power to stop that. But let me ask you a question. Why is it unethical to do that on children, but not on monkeys, knowing monkeys are not able to communicate with us? Here at Volkswagen, we have an opportunity to utilize our vast resources to, as the #1 car manufacturer in the world, to become an ethical paragon for other companies, not only in our industry, but in all industries. By taking this step forward and separating ourselves from our unethical practices, we will become a true ethical company. So, I'm going to leave you with this. If we don't make a change, here's my letter of resignation, and I will leave. We need to stop this unethical business practice, and we need to become an ethical company. Thank you.
Wow. Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee Cunningham, and I've been an employee here with Byera for the past 9 months. Now, let me start off by saying it's been an absolute pleasure working here. With that being said, it's come to my attention in the realm of ethics that there are a multitude of things that we could definitely improve upon. In relation specifically to the pricing of our drug, Daraprim. Currently, those who need Daraprim Those who need dare prim are faced with the ridiculous decision of whether or not they're going to throw themselves into financial ruin or if they're going to forego their treatment altogether. Obviously, this poses an ethical dilemma for us. Thank you.
Within 1 year, we will have chosen a city for which Amazon to house its second headquarters. This development will be one of the most significant executive decisions corporate America has ever seen. Our new host city is sure to experience considerable changes. The reshaping of cities to accommodate corporate social expansion has even been nicknamed the Amazon effect due to the changes we have witnessed right here in Seattle. Knowing this, we must enter our new city in the most socially responsible manner as possible in order to mitigate any possible negative externalities. An issue we are perhaps failing to consider is gentrification and its inevitable byproducts. As we all know, gentrification is the process of a city redefining itself to accommodate to a higher income class. Displacement is a byproduct of gentrification. We must be made aware that property values will inevitably rise with our presence, displacing lower and middle income families who can no longer afford the cost of their rent. Those who are not displaced and uprooted from their houses may be devastated to see their favorite local restaurants demolished and in their place, office buildings. We must do what we can to prevent any such gentrification in the city that we enter. To the best of our abilities, Amazon must prove that it has all stakeholders in mind when orchestrating this expansion, and not just the shareholders. These stakeholders include members of the community. We have a moral obligation to uphold the integrity of the city in which we enter. Our objective is not to restructure a city's dynamics, but to enhance and improve it. Amazon must set a precedent for ethical corporate expansion for other companies. Thank you very much.
We have been talking about our financial gains that we could make by increasing our working hours. But don't we forget that most of our employees are actually children, even though we call them junior employees. Our company's junior employees are at the age of 14 to 16, and according to our law, child labor refers to work that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful to children. And our company has poor working conditions, 10 hours of work per day, 10 hours of work per day, and demotivating work climate. So in this case, don't you think that we are pushing the limits of our child employees too much? 10 hours of work a day for a children, it's something unacceptable for a child. So how we can talk about making these conditions even poorer by increasing working hours? So as a company, we don't provide proper conditions to our employees, to our child laborers. So for this one, because of this, their growth will physically damage and their moral development will be affected negatively. So the thing that we are now here, we are doing currently is something non-ethical, unethical, absolutely. So it's not something that we can solve only by increasing the wages alone. Considering all those conditions, we have to confess that there is no difference between our child laborers and slavers. So I can easily say that our company is not considering the ethical issues of this aspect.